Okay, students, this particular assignment is going to explore a couple different things. The first thing is block lettering, and we've touched upon that in class already, where we've set up a ghost line in the shape of a letter, and then we use what we know about proximity to be able to outline and work around the ghost line so that we end up with a kind of squared off letter. Now you could do this also with bubble letters, but for this particular project we want to really focus on a block type letter. Some letters are going to be more difficult than others, and I'll touch upon that. The M I put up there as a moderately difficult letter, and then the C is much more challenging because it does not have a lot of corners for you to work your angles off of. Letters like F and E tend to be pretty reasonable, but when we get into things like S's, O's, and P's, R's, things that have curves to them, it's a lot harder to determine where to add a diagonal line in order to make our block letter into an isometric, three-dimensional looking letter. So proceed with caution as far as what letter you choose at first. Once you feel like you've mastered a letter, you could use any one in the alphabet that you want to. Alright, so our goal is not just to create a 3D kind of measurable letter, but also to imbue it with some architectural aspects. There are certain things that we have learned so far this year, how to do projections, how to do stairs, automobiles from different angles, and we want to be able to apply them to what we're doing so that we can not just embellish the surface of areas, but pretty much occupy a picture plane with other objects as embellishments. So what's happening in this particular composition is once we get past the initial letter that we want to place as our main subject, what we want to do is to put other objects into the picture plane that will be of interest and that will help support the main subject. So in this case, the M and the C were the main areas of focus. Then I started to add paths, and I even put one person into the mix, and one tree, a little canal with a boat on it, and some other buildings that are smaller and appear to be farther away. And what I hope to get out of this is something somewhat realistic. I've laid down some shadows on this particular composition to add a little bit more body to the three-dimensional shapes that are there. And I've added color. And once we start adding color in, we have to start following color rules. Just like we followed rules when we worked with the isometric block letters. If it's a rhombus, you put a rhombus on it. If it is a rectangular square, you put a square on it. Same thing goes with color. When we're working with color, if I have light green and then I put a shadow on there, I've got to follow it with a dark green. I cannot just drop black in on top of my green. So there are a set of rules that must be followed, when you're working with color as well. Alright, in this next example, I have some more advanced angles for my advanced students to use. That's why I put this in here. Immediately, starting out with something that's already at a diagonal makes it tougher, whether it's a set of stairs that you're doing or a block letter. It just makes it a little harder to handle. And for my advanced students, I'm pretty sure you're ready for this challenge. And other than that, there wasn't a whole lot more thrown into this other than these surprise angles. I did put a small vehicle in this particular composition just to rehash stuff that we've already done from choosing a view earlier in the previous quarter. So what I want you guys to be able to do is to have fun with what you're doing. Take your time. You want to be able to make something that's complete, that's clean, that's neat, it's presentable, it's embellished, and shows some imagination, and also that you're building your skills and you can actually employ things from the previous quarter into what you're doing. And other than that, I'm looking forward to some originality from you, and go back and watch the video as many times as you need to help you to get a grasp of this. So this project is something that will be somewhat time consuming, but you should be able to pace yourself with it. And that's about it. Have fun, do well, and embellish, embellish, embellish.